Welcome to Lifting Girls Up with Girls Inc. of New York City. We are here with Michelle Buteau and a couple amazing students from Harlem. My name is Tiffany, Academic Advisor for Girls Inc., and I'll let everyone introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, my name is Nayel. I'm 17. I love listening to music and I want to be a forensic psychiatrist.
Hi everyone, I'm Tara. I'm 17 years old and I have a strong passion for helping others and advocating for social justice.
Hey everyone, I'm Michelle Buteau. I am 43 years old. I look and feel amazing.
Love it.
I do stand up, I host and I act, and I love giving back to the community, and I love hugs and I miss people, and I can't wait to meet you guys with less than 3 feet between us. And I'm a mom of twins, which is why I have a lot of fake doctor stuff all over my house, just toys everywhere.
We're so happy to have you. We're so happy to have you. And firstly, I want to start off this conversation by just having you speak a little bit about self-care and the importance of taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, especially for women, we always tend to think of everybody else without even knowing it. You don't have to be a mom to know what it's like to nurture. We were taught to nurture from, the minute someone gave us a doll and said, you have to look after this person. And so it just comes natural to us. And so I think a lot of times we think self-care is selfish, and it just isn't. If you have a plant, you need to feed that plant for it to grow, and your body and your mind and your spirit is exactly the same way. So, whatever that is for you, just to even, take your mind off of whether it's school or a relationship, with a family member, with a partner, with a friend, with yourself, from social media, whatever it is, it's so good just to take a break, step back, and, figure out what that conversation is with yourself. Not enough people talk to themselves. I think they should. I talk to myself all the time. In fact, you got to stop me because I want to keep talking.
Oh my, I agree. I always, come on, I always talk to myself, like, just, there's just something about it.
Yeah.
It do be embarrassing when I get caught though, but it's fine.
Don't interrupt me when I'm talking to myself, okay?
Right. But I completely agree. Self-care is super important, and we don't really talk enough about how much, we really need to spend time like with ourselves and for ourselves. But at times it can be hard when, we do have social media and we see, other people and all of that stuff. So, and it can cause us to kind of criticize ourselves in a way, or when we hear comments from other people. So we just wanted to ask you, how do you embrace the qualities about yourself that other people might see as flaws?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And that really is something that kind of comes with time. But I will say the things that I used to get made fun of and felt bad about are the things that are celebrated now, sort of just like, bell bottoms, like everything comes back around, and that's what that really is. And so if you really trust in that, I mean, some people have that innate confidence to be like, hey, this is me, take it or leave it. I wasn't like that. I was a late bloomer. I would apologize for what I realize now was my shine, my greatness. Why do you have to make so much eye contact? Why do you have to talk to everybody? Why do you have to smile and laugh so hard? And I realized I just enjoy life, and I'm loud about it. Some people just have a higher volume. That me. And so, my mom used to straighten my hair and cover my freckles before we went to church. And now it's just like, if I walk in a room, everyone's just like, freckles, curly hair, So it's like those things about you, will be celebrated. Also, especially with social media, again, I think taking a break, even for a day, is so healthy because, when you live in the real world and you go back to it, you're just like, oh, okay, this isn't real because I've actually talked to my friend and other people that know me. And that's what a real comment is, not that comment, But for me, it's just like, join the party. If you don't want, you can like mute and move on. So lean into it. And if you really don't believe it, fake it till you make it, because eventually you'll find that joy because you're just like, I love it. I love it. I love it. And then soon enough, guess what? You're going to love it and everyone else is too.
I definitely agree with that, because for me personally, I know when I was in middle school, I was like so apologetic for everything that everybody had to say to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you don't like the fact that I laugh so hard, and I was just always doing that. And then I got into high school and I was just like, I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm about to be in the real world. I need to stick up for myself, And I think it also had to deal with who I had in my corner. And not for nothing, my parents have always been there for me. And so I think that it's really great that I had that outlet to go to and speak to them about those issues that I was having. Like, oh my gosh, so-and-so doesn't like my hair when it's not straight. And then, they would be like, well, this is who you are. Like, this is how God made you. This is how, you're beautiful like you are. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to ask, can you speak on the importance of having a support network during times of trouble?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you could have a support network with your family and friends and still feel lonely. So for me, it's always really trying to figure out how to work through something by myself. I have to figure out the beginning, middle, and end, why I'm feeling this way, what triggers it, how do I overcome it when it does happen? I struggle with anxiety. Sometimes when I'm driving over a bridge, I feel like I'm going to die. And I'm like, what is that? What in my life am I really just kind of going through and trying to figure out where it's coming out in this way? Heights is my thing. And so, and it used to be elevators. So COVID's real fun for me. But yeah, I think, especially going to the internet, look, do I suggest Googling every little symptom that might be happening? No, but it does help. Like, we have so much information available to us, right? Talking to a professional, talking to one of your homies who knows you, talking to your parent or some sort of auntie figure who has known you since you were a kid. I think for me, gathering all the intel for what people see for me and how it's been, and then figuring out what I need to do for next steps. It takes a lot of work to be happy. People think you just wake up and you Beyonce. No, you do not. No, you do not. It takes a lot of work to be happy, and that's okay. That's where the fun is half the time, and the struggle.
And this makes me circle back to even the notion of talking to yourself and having those periods of introspection just to learn where is the anxiety coming from? Where is this sadness coming from? Where is this fear coming from? And looking in the mirror and just having that conversation with yourself. I know that helps with me. Sometimes I like to journal. There's a quote, Anne Frank, that says that nothing is more patient than a blank page, which I think is very, very beautiful, because it's even therapy doesn't work for some people. It's that action that you do within yourself, those conversations you have within yourself. If it's not writing it down, it's speaking it out loud. I also have these moments of deep anxiety over things that I don't truly understand, but the only way I can't depend anyone in my life to understand it for me. Do you know what I mean? I can't expect someone to sit with me and tell me, okay, this is where it's coming from, because I'm going to be the only person in the whole world that knows myself the best. So I have to have those moments. And I think that coronavirus has been so difficult. However, it's also been an opportunity because we have extra time to connect with ourselves and, foster that deeper connection with ourselves. And this isn't the smoothest segue, but I would love to know because we're thinking about growth and overcoming here, right? And about evolving and growing into a better version of yourself, the best version of yourself. So what advice would you give to your younger self that you wish you knew? Yeah.
I really feel like, that it's just going to be okay. It's just going to be okay. I was so worried, what subjects am I going to study in school that it's going to define me, the school, the state, the what I wear, the how I look. And I really just wish I didn't think about what everybody else thought. Everybody else was guiding me, this is what you should do as a woman, as a young woman, as a blah, blah, blah. And I really just wish I had that inner voice of just trusting myself and my gut, my intuition, you know. You guys are amazing. I mean, you guys really seem like you got it together. And, you know, to be a young woman and just even say, how do I do this is a huge thing. Because I just believe, oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. I just have to hug my daughter real quick. Here. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to do a big hug. And then I'll go upstairs. Yes. Hi, Bubba. Are you on your bike? Come say hi to the ladies. Hello.
Hi.
Say hi, Hazelnut.
The most adorable soul. Look at the curls.
Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs now, but
Yeah.
say hi, Odie Bear.
Hi.
Oh, I love the curls. Hi, beautiful beings, beautiful souls.
Thank God for leave-in conditioner, right, everyone?
Right?
Look, it's the toy in my water. Okay, thank you so much.
This is probably bad advice, but I believe any conditioner is leave-in if you believe.
That's true. That's true. You guys don't have to edit this out. Keep this all in because this is what life is. Okay. Heading upstairs.
Nah, I got mad respect. Especially for mothers doing this whole Zoom world. It's a lot.
No, it's crazy, but it's also fun. Like, what else can you do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Making the best.
Yay.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to touch on something. So today in class, I did like a meditation affirmation thing with Girls Inc. Actually, it was my Girls Inc. class. And there were a couple of affirmations that I wrote down. It was actually a lot of affirmations I wrote down because I kind of want to start saying them to myself when I wake up in the morning or just throughout the day periodically. And some of which were like, I am successful and I know I'm still young, you know, I have time to grow, I have things to do, accomplishments to accomplish. I don't even know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that
but
makes sense to me.
okay, cool.
Accomplish that stuff.
Yeah. So I just want to know, like, what are some affirmations, if any, that you do tell yourself?
So many. To be honest, this is my thing. My whole thing is advice you could fit on a magnet for myself because for me, I'm just like, keep it simple, which is really how I make my relationship work with a lot of people. It's just like, just give it to me like it's a recipe and you're shortening it. I always tell anyone, especially myself, that you are enough. You are always enough. There's always a reason for us to not feel worthy or skinny enough or cute enough or smart enough, tall, skinny. There's so many reasons why we do not feel like we are enough. And at the end of the day, it's like, no, we are perfect. We are fine. We are doing the best that we can. And so my friends that would go for auditions in Los Angeles all the time, they were so nervous and just giving people all this power for no reason. You know, even going out on dates, you don't even know this person. Like they get to spend time with you. You know, they get to like live under your shine and be in your corner. Like turn the table. You know, and if you can't even believe that, which is fine, it takes time, just always say to yourself, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. But that's like probably the only one I could share with you because the other ones are just a little too adult.
Fine. I feel like the affirmation I am enough is so powerful, and you know, we do need to repeat this affirmation to ourselves more because there are times where we just don't feel like, you know, we're doing enough, but we really are. And the fact that we're still here in the middle of a pandemic and, you know, political turmoil and all of this stuff going on, we're still here. And that's, you know, that's more than enough. And we're doing all the best that we can.
And one of my mantras that I came up with when I started comedy and sort of dating and comedy at the same time was that if you don't want to hear from me, you're going to hear about me. Mm-hmm. So instead of letting people's rejection and negativity paralyze me, I would let it fuel me. And, and I saw it in Kamala's face at the debate when the flag got stuck on Mike Pence's head. And she's like, excuse me, I'm talking. I was like, you can say whatever you need to say with a smile and people will get it. So I like that, like if you have naysayers in your life, that's okay. They're supposed to be there. Let them be there and let them just like double tap your shine.
Exactly. But also, since this past year really has been about growth and self-reflection and, self-care, do you think that yourself from a year ago would be proud of the person you are today?
100%. I feel like a year in quarantine with husband, 1-year-old twins, now 2-year-old twins, spent half of their life in quarantine, which is crazy. I have lived all 3 seasons of Alone. Do you know what I mean? Just like Naked and Afraid, just like some sort of survival show where it's just like, how are we going to get through? Because this is more than just us wearing a mask and washing our hands and trying to figure out everyone else's idea of science, particularly the government. This is us, like the slogan is, alone together. This is a global pandemic. This has never happened before. When I got back to work and started filming safely, obviously under COVID protocols, everyone's just like, well, what do you need? Let us know what you need. And I'm like, I cannot tell you all what I need because I've never been through this before. And I think there is power in saying, I don't know, because then no one can hold anything against you. Well, you didn't say it. You didn't say, no, I'm letting you know I don't know. So let's walk down this little journey together very slowly. It really is it takes such an emotional toll not to see people, not to see people's faces, to live in a constant fear of, I hope I don't get it. I hope my people don't get it. Will we be okay? It's so great. It doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have, how healthy you are or not. It doesn't even matter. So, this year has been nuts. And I think everybody should be proud of themselves. People talk about, I gained the COVID-19 pounds or whatever. It's just like, look, let your body do what she needs to do because she kept you healthy and strong. I don't think we thank our feet enough. Our feet hold so much stress. We're just out here. Like, check your jaw, check your hands, check your elbows, things that you would get. We're always so mad at our stomach. We're always so mad at our tongue. Why is my tummy not doing what everybody else's tummy is doing on Instagram? Because it's not real. Like, if we could just really just appreciate ourselves, man, what would that be like? I will just keep talking. Y'all need to ask me another question because she will just go on and on and on.
Girl, feel free. Hey.
No, I love that you bring up the point of just like showing love to our bodies, like no matter what stage they get to. I tried this yoga practice for the first time a while ago, and the woman was saying, rotate your wrists and touch your ankles and just give them love.
Yeah.
And I never thought about giving my wrists and my ankles love. Like, it's so random.
A lot of work. Yeah.
They do a lot of work for us. And it's like, yes, mentally it's already hard because in this time of like disconnection, right? Like, we're not supposed to talk to each other. This is when community is most important. And look at the news. Look what's happening like every day. It feels like every day something traumatic and tragic is happening, and we're all dealing with it alone in our bodies. And those emotional pains can manifest into physical pains in the body. So if you ignore your body, then something could be happening in there that you don't even realize. And you're getting migraines, and your back hurts, and your feet hurt, and you're like, why is this happening? All I've been doing is staying inside. No, it's because of this emotional residue that's turning into something else. And so like that self-care and these conversations are just so powerful. And I think the reason we're all quiet for a second is because everything you said just hit home so hard. It kind of like pulls you back into reality, because when we do things like this, like these interviews, and when we like, I'm going to class now, right? Like when I go to my classes, it's like we have to pretend that everything's okay.
Yeah.
It's like we have to like pretend that there's not a pandemic outside. We have to pretend that this huge thing isn't shaping our everyday lives and just like us thinking about the fate of our families every day and ourselves, and let alone people with depression and anxiety, let alone people who already have these mental obstacles that they've been dealing with and now everything is heightened.
Yeah, I mean, picture yourself for the last year just on a roller coaster, but you don't experience the getting off of it, the serotonin part, right? That it's just like, what's it? That's what this year has been in every way, you know? So it's like, allow yourself to be like, what was that? For just one whole minute. So yes, mental health is so real, and especially growing up Caribbean and Catholic, you know, mental health was not considered a thing. Yep. Unless, you know, you went up to the river to the loony thing and you know, and even then it was like this judgment. And I'll never forget the first time I told my mom I was going to therapy, and she's like, "For what?" And I was like, "'Cause of you." Because I need to talk to somebody. And I was never supposed to talk about this growing up. And I even went into a profession where I can scream things on a microphone because I am a truth teller. And this is who we are. And I realized, like, you know, especially if you're out there and you feel like your parents don't get you, that's okay. We're all from different generations and have different things. And that's a beautiful thing. You know, growing up Caribbean and Catholic, we are generations away from slavery. That was just like not too long ago. And so our people came over and they had to hide everything. You know, they couldn't tell anything to anyone, not even to each other. They couldn't admit that they could read or you know, write, or that they were educated, or whatever it was. And so that has carried on. That's why, you know, I realize, at least in my family, we're not allowed to talk about anything. You just got to figure it out and keep it moving. And so you take that and then you also take your truth and you make your beautiful history. You know, when you define your happiness, you also write your history. Oh, you better put that on.
Yes.
Whenever I hear I'm Dominican, I'm Caribbean, I was raised Caribbean and Catholic too, and whenever I hear like those statements of like our people not being able to talk about mental health in the home, I'm always like, you know what, I probably need therapy, and mommy, you might need therapy too. And like we all need therapy too. Like we all need to talk to someone. We all need to talk to someone and just like do that introspection. But when you're a result of so much pain, you're a survivor, right? And sometimes we live to survive, and that becomes just so ingrained in your everyday of like, oh, as long as we have shelter and we have food, we're good, period.
Yes. I did see this one quote that I did love because, you know, I struggled for 5 years to have my twins and I welcomed them through surgery. And there's this one quote that I really did. And that's another thing that I love to do. Follow more inspirational quote accounts on Instagram. So then when you open this thing, you see something like delicious pop up that can feed your soul as opposed to like a crop top. No shade if you wear crop tops though, you better do your thing. But people in crop tops always want to reach something on the top shelf. I'm like, do you? But anyways, the quote I saw was, the tools you needed to survive will not be the ones you need to thrive. So it's like, learn how to be happy and accept your gifts.
You've been saying a lot of words today, like a lot of like snaps to you.
Look, she got feelings and know where to put them.
We need to curate our social medias to be better for us. We need to like we need to follow empowering people, because that's also like, I think about noise and I think about how much technology is around us and how much negative noise. Like I'm even trying to be intentional about listening to high positive vibration music, because I used to be like that, like rock ego, like but I'm changing now, and I'm really like more like indie R&B and just like these sounds that just make you feel good, and words that make you feel good, because even if you don't realize that it's doing you good at the moment, it does sit in there, and it makes you feel better.
No, true.
I wanted to ask about, you know, your own inner battles and obstacles, and in what ways have those kind of changed you as you've grown into womanhood? You know what I mean? How has your obstacles contributed to your own growth as you've now transitioned into being a woman?
I mean, I feel like it kind of never stops, you know? Not to quote Danica Kirkpatrick, the race car driver. Yes. She said in an interview, because somebody was saying, "Oh, I feel bad that I'm making money and I'm complaining," and Danica was like, "Oh, new level, new devil." So no matter what you have in your life, you're always going to have to sort of like overcome these obstacles and these demons within of just like, do I deserve this? So many other people need stuff and I'm over here just celebrating like a fat king on Game of Thrones. And so you know, you could feel bad for not having something, you could feel bad for having it. And it's just like, okay, again, checking in with yourself seems to be the theme, the thread, the umbrella we're all living under in this conversation. Checking in with yourself, making sure you're okay, and trying to figure out how to be happy. So, you know, you're always gonna feel like that insecure 12-year-old on the playground or the 16-year-old at prom or whatever it is. That will always be in you, and that's a good thing. You know, you can be two things at the same time, and that's a good thing. That's, I feel like, how you can empower other people, because you know what it's like to be on the other side. You can be empathetic to people's situations. So I don't know if I fully answered the question, but yeah, I don't think that ever stops.
Yeah, thank you. That's like really important. And kind of circling back to this whole social media thing and following people you know, on social media with intention. I'm definitely a firm believer that like everything that we hear, everything that we see, everything that we just like consume is kind of like it's what shapes us. And you know, I recently, you know, posted on Instagram like, hey, if I'm not doing anything for you, if I'm not adding anything to your life, you know, feel free to unfollow me. I'll be good. Like, you know, if, you know, I'd rather you follow someone who adds joy to your life, you know, who, you know, follow that, you know, that food, you know, Instagram, the inspirational quotes, you know, because if I'm not doing anything for you, then there's no point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. You know, because I'm 43, I've had a fully realized life without social media. So I know like most of my memories growing up until like 18, 19, didn't have email, didn't even, you know, had like a beeper, right? Like probably send a 3-eyed raven to somebody's house and be like, you want to come over for dinner? Like old school. So I can't even imagine what it's like growing up now, where this is just like a huge part of your life. Like not just a part of it, but a huge part. Like even Steve Jobs wouldn't let his kids have a phone or an iPad. You know, he knew something. Mm-hmm. And so to realize, and this is why I love hosting The Circle on Netflix. You know, it's social experiment, it's social media, but it's also responsible, because it's like, we can't not deal with it. How do we? What do our profile pictures say about us? How much information are we really sharing? You think you're just sharing this, but you're sharing like a whole bunch of other stuff with the world and you don't even know. You know, I think it's really important to be mindful, and that's exactly what you're doing, you know, curating your group. And I also am a big fan of what is it called when you can accept you can accept followers on Instagram, right? Like
when you have a private account.
Private.
Thank you so much. I felt like I was in a panic room for a minute, and y'all gave me the clue to get to the other side of the door. I was like, "What's that word?"
We got you. We got you. It's a community effort here.
So just building off of that, I think definitely when I didn't get social media until I graduated from middle school, because my parents didn't want me to have it. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, that's so not cool. Like I want social media, all my friends have it. You know, they're like, Nayo, just make a secret account. Like they're not gonna know. Like they're gonna know, trust me, like, you know. But Yeah, and I just really thought I was missing out, and then I finally got it, and I literally told them maybe like 2 days later, there's no hype in this. Like, I didn't understand the hype. And it's probably because I didn't have that much friends at the time, so I didn't really understand it anyways. But then I got older and I got into high school and I started seeing all these people and I started to compare myself and I was just like, well, dang, like, you know, but I didn't delete it because that was like my source of entertainment. So it was like my entertainment, but it was also a little bit toxic at the same time. And now, like, over the pandemic, I started to find a balance of like how I can still have my entertainment, but know my boundaries. Like, I know, okay, Nayo, like, you can't keep looking purposely searching up somebody's page to look at what they have because you don't have it, you know, like, just work so that you can get to that level or higher. So I don't really know if there was a question necessarily.
Well, I mean, I feel this a lot because a lot of comedians will, you know, look at other people's stuff and be like, how'd they get that show? How'd they get that award? How'd they get that movie? How'd they get to, and I can't even say this enough. And I say this to all my friends all the time. And because I'm the only child, maybe this is why I have this, but I feel like you're only in competition with yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do I do better? You know what I mean? People are going to tell you you're amazing. People are going to tell you you don't have it. Thank you so much for your opinions. It's like, okay, how do I make myself better? And, you know, again, like, the diet of social media is so hard. Just diets in general, just limiting yourself, restricting this, whatever. But we were all born with beautiful imaginations. And it's just like, why can't we just get back to that, you know, instead of scrolling for an hour? Because the rabbit hole is real, especially with TikTok. Everyone's doing it. You know, even Meg Thee Stallion's just like, put it down, you know? But yeah, I mean, like, what if you just went off writing and or painting for 1 hour and then checked social media for 10 minutes? I guarantee you'd be like, social media is basic. Do you know what I mean? It's like giving ourselves these projects to work on really is, I don't know. I believe in it. And then at the end of the month, you're just like, look at all the stuff that I made. This is amazing when I actually use my brain for stuff. And you're just doing all the things too. So, wow. I mean, wow. I can't even like finish an article online and you guys are just out here doing the most. I'm so impressed.
I still can't finish the article. At the very top.
I know. I feel bad for writers, you know, who probably went to school for journalism and now they're writing clickbait and they're just like, it's all in the title. I'm just
on the headline. It's all in the headline.
It is.
Mm-hmm. I love that we're talking about shifting the narrative from consumption to producing. Like, we always consume. But like, no, like, painting and writing is like, we actually get to produce something. We get to create something new into the world, something that's original and not just copying someone else. That's actually why I also like really love stand up, and it's been helping me like throughout the whole like this whole like not I heard that we shouldn't say quarantine, we should say retreat. I was just watching this interview of like taking this time indoors and just like laughing and being joyful and just doing things that make you feel good and watching things that make you feel good. So at Girls Inc., all of our lessons and our curriculum and our sessions is all rooted in ensuring that our young people are strong, smart, and bold. Right? And that's all sorts of strength. That's emotional strength. That's resiliency. That's confidence. That's, you know, intelligence, and not just about like what's in their books, but what's on the streets, what's in their world. Yeah. So I would love to ask you, what does strong, smart, and bold mean to you?
Strong, smart, and bold. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, off the top of my head, it feels feminine. It feels like the most truthful, vulnerable version of yourself that will forge a path for all of time to always not only take care of yourself, but those around you that need it. And yeah, that's what it feels like to me. What a that was not right. What? This week on The View, this
Yeah.
is our time. What? Am I Lonnie Love in this situation? Is this the real?
It's a big question because you answered it beautifully, and something that I want to circle back to too is like one of your first answers you talked about like intuition and like women's intuition, and I feel like that's something that gets so clouded, and that's something that doesn't get prioritized when we have conversations among women. Is like sometimes most times the answer is within you. And there's just so many distractions in our world that it's like we forget that connection to yourself.
Yeah, because the patriarchy has told us time and time again, this is how we should think, this is how we should feel, this is how we should look to make especially men feel more comfortable. And if you don't trust something, intuition for good and bad, if you don't trust something, don't do it. You don't even need a reason. You don't have to come up with an answer. If you feel it, don't do it. And if all of a sudden you're being difficult, no thank you. Thank you so much. No thank you. Keep it moving. You know, you don't have time to explain why something doesn't make you feel comfortable. Okay, we can process that later. You just go. I had a professor tell me in college that I was too fat to be on camera when I told him I wanted to be a journalist. And I just believed him because rightfully so, I didn't see anybody that looked like me on TV. And my body got all hot in school. I was like, you know, in the middle of class, and I couldn't figure out why I felt that way. If I was embarrassed, I also like kind of agreed with him. I was taught not to question authority, respect my elders, don't be difficult. I don't like your tone, all those things. And that's why I'm screaming from the top of a mountain, you are enough. We'll never tell, especially a young mind, that they can't do something. Even an old mind, you could still do whatever you want. You just have to believe in yourself.
And don't be afraid to take up space.
You better take up that space.
Take the space. You deserve it.
We say that because like we just filmed season 2 of The Circle, and there was a really sweet girl in the finale. And she was like, I'm just so sorry. I'll be real quick when I say this. I'm like, no, you take your time. You even add a couple of ums. You know what I mean? You take your time and think about what you want to say, and you can ramble. You take your moment. You take your space. I'm tired.
I love that. Because I do that all the time. I be, I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay.
I used to speak so quickly. Sometimes I still do it. And now I realized with some reflection, I'm like, oh, I speak quickly because I feel like I'm not deserving of more space, of more time. Yeah. So I like try to like just get my point out. It's like, no, my point is fine. My point is fine.
I've been in writers' rooms where I like to, I talk fast anyways. Is it quickly? Hello. And more federal funding for public schools. And because I can't even like understand what an adverb is. But the point is, I would always just speak way too fast in a writer's room because I know that I have everybody's attention for 30 seconds and that's it. I'm so sorry I said anything. And then a dude will come along and say the same thing I just said with all the pregnant pauses. And like pretty much have like a parade. You know, so look, I am not here to man bash, but I am just here to let you guys know it is okay to stand in your power, and it's okay for people to be uncomfortable with how powerful you are. It's okay for you to be uncomfortable with how powerful you are. You grow into it, you know, like big teeth. Sometimes you just gotta grow into it.
And I feel like that's the perfect moment to end our amazing interview. Thank you so much, Michelle, joining us with lifting girls up with Girls Inc. of New York City. We are so grateful.
Me too, honey.